Okay, guys, once again, I welcome you to my lesson for today. Before I start with my lesson for today, please do allow me to say it's very much important, guys, that I say it's very, very much important because what I'm about to say is massively important. So, guys, a day without learning something new, it's a day wasted. So please do make sure that by the end of each and every lesson that I conduct, you learn something new. So guys, we won't waste much of our time, but we'll start with what we're doing. When was it? On Sunday. So I just want to quickly take you through an extension of what we did, just so that you enhance your understanding on this chapter. Remember, guys, we had a rule which said n square root of a multiplied by n square root of b. This is equals to n square root of whatever that is being written inside the square roots multiplying each other. And again, we had n square root of a divided by n square root of b, and we said this is equals to n square root of a over b. So guys, in your exam questions, you might be given a question similar to this one, where they want you to simplify. So they may give you square root of 2 multiplied by square root of 3. So now you can see, guys, over there you've got that invisible 2, I hope you remember, which is represented by n over there. Also there you've got an invisible 2, which means this is equals to. So you just need to know between, let's say, rule number 1 and rule number 2, which rule can you apply? And again, remember, guys, you need to be careful of the manner in which your problem is given. It may be given in that manner, or otherwise you may be given that where you need to work it out in reverse, or otherwise you may be given that where you need to express it in that format, or otherwise be given in that format where you need to express it in that format. So ladies and gentlemen, just a quick question. Do you still remember, or do you still understand rule number 1 and rule number 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 100%. So, Shreyas, in this case, you've got square root of 2 multiplied by square root of 3. So, it is obviously given in that format whereby in place of n, we've got that invisible 2, which means this can be equated to, let me get a new marker. So that means this can be equated to invisible 2 square root of 2 multiplied by 3. I'm not sure if it makes sense, that part, but I hope it does, because we are saying whatever inside the brackets multiplying whatever that is inside the bracket. So what is 2 multiplied by that? That is the same as 6. So square root of 6, can it be further simplified? No. Then it means it ends there. So if you want to know if something can be further simplified, on your calculator, just punch square root of 6 and say it's equals to. If it still gives you square root of 6 as an answer, it means this is the end of it. So now let's have a look at the second type of a problem. Let's say you may be given square root of 27 over square root of 3. In this case, is there someone who wants to guess between rule number 1 and rule number 2? Which rule can we apply in this case?
Rule number 2, sir.
100%. So, which means we've got invisible 2 over there, we've got invisible 2 over there. We'll still do the same way. We've got invisible 2. That means this is the same as square root of 27 over 3. So what is 27 divided by 3?
3, sir.
So that means we've got square root of 3. The question is, wait, Shreyas, is 27 divided by 3 3?
It's 9, sir.
It's 9. It's 9, Shreyas. 27 divided by 3, it's 9. Then that's when you
But,
can
sir,
say square root
if
of
you
9.
put it with, sir, I put the square root, and inside the square root I put 27 over 3, which gave me 3.
So that means if this question was allocated 3 marks, you were going to get 1 mark and a mark for your final answer. And in some cases, you might not find full answers because you used a calculator to simplify, whereas they wanted you to simplify without using a calculator. So you first apply rule number 2, then from there you do it step by step. So you say 27 divided by 3, which is 9. Then after, you can say what is square root of 9? This is equals to 3. So that is how you work it out. You don't straight away punch all of this on a calculator. Otherwise, you jump a mark and you get a final answer. So let's say again we're given 3 square root of 16 divided by 3 square root of 2. Again, anyone to guess which rule to apply, and again, what is that step over there?
Step number 2, sir.
Step number 2, then what is that step over there? What do I write over there?
It's going
Anyone
to
to guess?
be yes, sir. It's going to be to the root of 16 divided by 2.
So it's going to be that divided by 2. Then remember, guys, they wanted you to simplify the whole of that without using a calculator. So what is 16 divided by 2?
It's 8, sir.
So it's 8. Then from there,
It's 8.
remember, guys, you can work it out in many ways. You know, you've got what is it? What is 8? I think 8 is 2 to the exponent 3. Then you remember you've got that one over there divided by 3. I'm not sure if you guys still remember this step from our previous lesson. Do you remember, guys?
Yes, sir.
100%, which means that is going to cancel that, and you've got 2 to the power 1, which is just 2. Does that, all of that, does it make sense for everyone, guys? Or is there someone who would like an explanation on that one?
Sir, please explain.
Okay, so remember, we are using a law number 2 or rule number 2, which says you've got 3, which is that over there, because there you've got 3 is the same as that 3 at the bottom. If they were not the same, you are not going to apply that rule. But because they are the same, then they are represented by 1 3, which is 16 divided by 2. Then you punch all of that inside inside the square root. So you've got 3, 16 divided by 2 is 8. So remember, 8 can also be written as 2 to the exponent 3. But remember, you've got 3 square root of that. So I haven't changed anything. I just rewrite that 8 in that format. So if you attended a Sunday's lesson, you'll remember that for us to remove that square root, is whatever inside the brackets, inside the square root to the exponent 1 over that over there, which is 3. So you now multiply the exponents. So it's more like you've got 2 to the exponent 3 multiplied by 1 over 3. So 3 is the same as 3 over 1. That cancels, then you just remain with that 2. So that means if you punch the whole of this on a calculator, it should give you 2. So I'm not sure if it makes sense for everyone.
Yes, sir, it does. So
Yes,
what happens if then the numbers given before the roots are not the same? Outside the root.
So yes, now understand. So if they are not the same, then it means you might need to work out whatever that is inside the brackets and not apply any of those rules, because they are only applicable when they are the same, which means you are most likely to not be given different whatever they call it. So it has to be the same, or otherwise if it's not the same, just work out that 16. For example, you can say what makes 16. Maybe if it's 4 multiplied by 4, then just say square root of whatever that it is, then square root of 4 multiplied by 4. So I'm going to show you how to work out that one where you just expand whatever that is inside the brackets. So let me remove all of these. So that question, it is questionable, but for now, do not stress that much. Let's see. Let's say we've got 5 square root of 3 plus 2 square root of 3 minus 3 square root of 3. Guys, is there someone who wants to guess how to approach this one or this type of a problem?
Yes, sir.
Can I please try?
Let me see. We've got who and who?
Prudence.
Prudence, yes, you can give it a try.
So say, since we have the same number on all of the square root, we're gonna use only one. So it's going to be 5 plus 2 minus 3 into square root of 3. I don't know, sir.
Who else wanted to give it a try?
Because the square roots are the same, under the square roots you got the same value, so it's gonna be we're gonna say 5 plus 2 minus 3, then square root of 3.
Another one who wanted to give it a try? Okay. Is there someone who completely doesn't understand how to approach this type of a question? I know if I can explain to that one and make them understand, then all of you who attempted that problem will surely understand. So, is there someone who completely doesn't understand? It
yes,
should be someone who's in grade 10. Shreyas, and who else? Ntando, do you understand it?
So I don't understand it, sir.
Shreyas doesn't understand. Who else doesn't understand? Shreyas, you are the one who is in lower grade. The rest of your fellow learners, I think some are in grade 11, some are in grade 12. So if you can understand this one, then it puts you in a better position to have a better understanding when you get to the upper grade. So guys, I'm going to be doing this one with Shreyas until he understands, which means you'll be able to tell if your attempt was correct or not. And again, I'm going to try a different approach so that it expands your understanding or your knowledge. So Shreyas, are you there? Can we start it?
Yes, sir.
How many terms do we have?
3, sir.
3 terms. So remember, guys, everyone, a term is separated by a sign of a plus or a minus. So that means we've got 1, 2, 3 terms. So in each of these terms, Shreyas, we've got a common factor. A common factor is that square root of 3 over there. Remember, this can be written as 5 multiplied by square root of 3 plus 2 multiplied by square root of 3 minus 3 multiplied by square root of 3. So can you see now, Shreyas, that we've got a common factor of square root of 3?
Yes,
Let's
sir.
take it out. So that means if we take it out, we can write it outside and write everything which was attached to that square root of 3 inside the brackets. What is the first number which is attached to the first term?
5, sir.
It's 5. What is the second number attached to the second term?
2, sir.
Third term,
3.
remember, in mathematics, every number has got a sign. So it's either it's minus or negative 3. So now, obviously, you can work out all of that. What is it, Shreyas?
4, sir.
Wait.
No, sir.
Guys, what is that?
It's 4, sir.
4, sir.
Okay, so that means we've got square root of 3 into 4. So to rewrite it is the same as 4 multiplied by square root of 3. So for everyone who attempted that problem, is this what you guys were talking about? No response. I'm not sure if there's a delay in delivering the message, but otherwise I'll just confirm it for you guys. You were right, the 3 of you, with what you attempted. So Shreyas, before I continue, are you happy with that explanation?
Yes, sir.
100%. So Shreyas, every time when you look at a given expression or problem or equation, just think differently. For example, firstly need to know how many terms you've got. Once you are able to know how many terms you have, then try to check in each term, do you have a common factor? It seems like you do. When you do, take it out and inside the brackets write whatever that was associated or attached to that common factor. So in other words, that square root of 3, you can think of it as maybe 5y plus 2y minus 3y. So if you punch the whole of this, I think it's going to give you 4y, of which we know y represents square root of 3. So that means wherever you see y, you substitute square root of 3. So I'm just training you on how to view different types of given problems or expressions. So the three of you guys who attempted that problem, do you now understand the approach that I've applied over there, or did I confuse you guys? Shreyas, is it just the two of us? I'm not sure if everyone else is still in this lesson.
They're still in the lesson, sir.
Okay. So
I think there's a delay in our server.
Oh, okay. No, it's fine. I'll just try to flow with the lesson because I notice there's that waiting period in case if I ask a question. But it's fine. Let's say we're given this type of a problem. Shreyas, how many terms do we have?
3, sir.
3 terms. Do you see a common factor in each term?
Yes, sir.
What is the common factor?
Square root of 7.
So let's write square root of 7. Inside the brackets, what is the number attached to the first term? So it's more like I'm saying, what is the coefficient of the first term?
2, sir.
What is the coefficient of the second term?
2.
What
2,
is
sir.
the coefficient of the third term?
-6, sir.
What is the coefficient of the first term?
So since the first term has an invisible 2, sir.
So, oh yeah, no, now I see. So, I'm glad we had this type of a question. So I'm going to explain it to you, Shreyas. It could be that my handwriting it's somehow, but we have 2 square root of 4 as an example name, and again we have 2 square root of 4. So these are 2 different things, Shreyas. So we have 3 square root of y, and again we have 3 square root of y. So this thing that I wrote over there, let me just rewrite it nicely so that it doesn't confuse you guys. So this is square root of 7 plus 2 square root of 7 minus what is it? So this is 6 square root of 7. So Shreyas, I'm going to flow with this one, but next time remember. So that means you need to check whether is that type of a problem or otherwise is this type. I'll just find out what is the correct way of calling that number over there, because this one which is a 2 is a coefficient, this one which is 6 is a coefficient. So we also have invisible 1 over there, which is a coefficient. So a coefficient is more like 2x. That 2 is a coefficient, and I think a letter is a variable. So if you have a number let's say a number multiplying a letter, this is called a coefficient, this is called a variable. So letter is called a variable, and then a number multiplying the letter is called a coefficient. So here we've got invisible 1 over there, we've got 2, we've got 6. So in a case where you've got x square root of y, I'll try to find out what is that being called, unless if there's someone in the group who knows what that is called. Then you can help us on that one. So we've got 1, 2, 3 terms. And in each term, we've got a common factor, which is square root of 7. Then into is 1 plus 2 minus 6. What is all of this, guys? Let me see. We've got 1 plus 2 minus 6. This is negative 3. So that means we've got a square root of 7 negative 3, which can be written as that. So this is the end of it, which means if you can punch all of this on a calculator, it should give you that. If it doesn't, then you know you've made a mistake somewhere along somewhere along your simplification, or otherwise you punched it incorrectly. So let's say now we've got that.
Sir, I wanted to ask Nese, what happens now if we have a plus sign or a minus sign between the coefficient and the square root?
Oh, so if we have a plus or a minus sign between what? I'm still listening. I'm just trying to understand what you were asking. You say if we have a plus or a minus between the coefficient and the square root. No. I wouldn't understand unless if you give me a problem. Just tell me what to write, and then I'll respond. In the meantime, while the message is still being delivered, let's try to continue with this one. Otherwise, towards the end of this lesson, just make sure to write that problem down and we'll have a look at it. Otherwise, you might find solution before we get to the end of this lesson. So let me see. Shreyas, are you still there? Yes, sir. Is your network responsive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think for most of these problems, let's do them together because you're the one who's in the lowest grade. I'm not sure if Kele has joined today. Kele, have you joined today? If he's there, I should use both of you guys. No, Kele is not here. Okay, it's fine. Only if you can understand Shreyas, then everyone else must understand they are in the upper grade. So guys, Shreyas and I will be solving this problem. In case if you don't understand, just make sure to stop me or request for me to re-explain. Shreyas, how many terms do we have?
3, sir.
We've got 3 terms. In each term, do we have a common factor?
Yes, sir.
What is the common factor?
Square root of 5, sir.
Is 3 square root of 5. Remember that 3 over there. So it's 3
yes,
square root of 5. So what is the coefficient of the first term?
1, sir.
100%. Second and third?
So the second one is 5. The third one is negative 2.
100%. So now let's take out our common factor, which is 3 square root of 5. The coefficient there, you said is 1. You said here is 5. You said there it's negative 2. What is that?
4, sir.
100%. So that means you've got 3 square root of 5 into 4. Therefore, this can be written nicely as that. Is there anyone who's got a question with regards to that problem, guys? Or did that make sense for everyone?
Yes, sir.
So we are all happy now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's have a look at this type of a problem where you are now given square root of 18 and they want you to simplify that one. Is there someone who wants to give it a try?
How about changing it to exponential form?
Okay, let's go with it. Let's try to change it in exponential form. So how can we work it out?
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to change 18 to be 2 times 9.
To be 2 times 9.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so guys, with this type of problems, I think you want to have, what is it, Ntando? Is it a perfect square
Yes, sir.
multiplied by whatever number that can take you back to 18, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So according to you, you're saying we can say square root of, what is your perfect square?
It's 9.
So your perfect square number is 9 multiplied by, what is whatever number that you can use which will take you back to 18?
It's 2.
It's 2. So ladies and gentlemen, that means if you are given square root of a bigger number, you can make use of that approach where you write it by exponential form, whatever. But the simplest or the other possible way in which you can do it, try to find a perfect square number which you can multiply by any other number, which will take you back to whatever number that you had inside the brackets. So can you see, guys, this is the same as that. So in this case, Ntando, what is n?
Say n is 2.
Shreyas, what is a?
A is 9, sir.
Promise, what is b?
B is 2, sir.
So can you see, guys, we have that and we need to rewrite it in reverse. So it's more like now we are doing a reverse of that rule, which means this is the same as you said, there's that invisible 2 over there. We have 9, which is that part, multiplied by, what is it? We've got invisible 2 over there, then we have b over there. Can you see? So, whoever, I'm not sure if it was you, Lerato, but now that you are there, you can therefore say square root of 9. You know that is, what is it? It's 3 squared multiplied by square root of 2, whereby you know this is the same as that multiplied by square root of 2, and you know that cancels, you have 3 to the exponent 1, which is the same as 3 to the exponent 2. So punch that on a calculator and check if it gives you 3 square root of 2.
Yes, sir, it does gives 3 square root of 2.
100%. So, is everyone happy with that explanation over there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
100%. So, guys, I'm going to remove all of that. I'm going to remove all of that. And then from there, let's have a look at this one, which is square root of 12 plus 4 square root of 75. Guys, I wanted you to be aware of something. You see, with this type of problems where you're dealing with SATs, they just, I'm only training you to do square root of 10. The next day, I'm training you to do 4 square root of 75. Next day, I'm training you to do just a square root of 75. So what comes in exam is the combination of all the different problems that we have done combined together. So do not panic, just work it out one by one. And again, it doesn't mean when they ask a question which is related or which has got the square roots, it will only be falling under that chapter of SATs. It can be in functions, it can be in whatever. You just need to be aware that these are the rules that you use to approach this type of problems. And in case if you get confused, remember to go approach it step by step and say, how many terms do you have? You've got 1, 2 terms. Do you have a common factor in each term? No. If you don't, then try to work out this alone plus that alone, continue and see where it ends. So 12, we said, what did we say? We say perfect square. We want to find a perfect square number multiplied by any number which is going to take us back to whatever that is inside the square root. So how can we work out that one over there, guys?
So for square root of 12, we will have square root of 4 times 3.
100%. So that means we've got square root of 4 multiplied by a 3 plus, obviously there we've got 7 square root of, what about 75?
Says it will square root of 3 times 25. Oh, it's 4 square root of 3 times 25.
So you're saying 4 square root of 3 times 25, ne?
Yes, sir.
So to make it simple, let's start with 25 and write 3 later. Just like over there when I said perfect square times whatever number. So let's first start with a perfect square multiplied by whatever number. So it makes it easy in that way. You will see just now, which is equals to, obviously, we have that. We now write it in reverse. Shreyas, are you there? What is
Yes, sir.
n for that first term over there?
For the first term, sir, n is the invisible 2.
What is the coefficient?
1, sir.
So for the second term, what is the coefficient and what is n?
So the coefficient is 4 and our n value is invisible 2.
100%, which means now we can say we've got square root of that, plus 4 multiplied by square root of 25 multiplied by square root of 3 over there. So can you see, guys, initially we did not have we did not have the common factors in each term. But before I get to that, let me now work out that. So Ntando and Lerato, the reason why you said 4 times 3, you knew this is a perfect square, isn't it? So in this case, you don't need to show by means of converting this to exponent or whatever. You can just write it as 2 and say square root of 3 plus you have that 4 over there is being multiplied by square root of 25, which is 5. This is multiplying square root of 3. So can you see, Ntando? It's better when you start with a perfect square because it gives you 5, which multiplies directly the coefficient. Otherwise, you end up having that square root of 3, that 5. Can you see?
Yes.
So it is correct. It's just that you just rearrange them nicely. So now there's nothing you can do. Is in its simplest form. Plus, what is that? I think this is 20, guys. 4 times 5 is 20 multiplied by square root of 3. So can you see? There's that one who said, what if you've got a whatever, a sign of a plus in between and whatever. So if this is the relevant example, so this is how you do it. If you don't have common factors, try to work out that alone, work it out until you get to a point where it's in its simplest form. So can you see now, you've got term number 1, term number 2. In each term, you've got a common factor, which is square root of 3. Inside, you've got that 2 plus you've got that 20. Then this is equals to square root of 3 into 22, which is equals to 22 is the coefficient. Then you have square root of 3. Then punch all of this on a calculator and check if it gives you that answer.
Yes, it does.
Last
Yes,
one
sir,
to
it does.
confirm.
Yes, sir.
100%. So guys, is everyone happy with today's lesson? Before I recommend that on our next lesson we move to the next or a new chapter.
Yes,
And
sir.
again, is there someone who's got a question? Or otherwise, for tomorrow's lesson, I will see. I can either try to find questions from past exam papers, or otherwise we can move to the next chapter. I'm thinking the next chapter might be analytical geometry, because I'm mostly interested in doing those lessons which accommodates grade 10 to 12. So I want to first start with the basics before we get we get to exam questions, so that even those in grade 10, they are exposed and able to understand how questions are asked and how to calculate whatever that the question wants them to calculate. So analytical geometry, it might be a chapter that we'll be starting with on our next lesson. But for today's lesson, I just want to check if everyone is happy, and again, if you fully understood, or otherwise, if there is that question or that last question, this is your opportunity to ask that last question.
I was happy with today's lesson, so.
Last one to confirm.
Yes, I'm here.
No questions.
No, sir.
Okay, so guys, this brings us to the end of our lesson for today. I thank you very much for joining. I will see you on tomorrow's lesson. Cheers, guys.